So hardware-wise for webcam, we went in and talked about the phone version. So here's what I'm talking about for webcam. Obviously, if you're going to do it this way, you need a webcam. I think it's implied that you have one if that's the direction you're going. I didn't go into offering what webcams you should get because, again, I don't think that there was a need for me to do that research for you. Most likely whatever you have on your device is probably fine. If you have a device that doesn't have webcam, you could reach out to me and maybe I could help you narrow down some of your options. I would say if you're going to buy one, you probably want to get one that's at least 720 high definition. Just because, again, you want to have higher quality video. I made sure when I'm presenting to you on Google Meet that I change it to high definition. If you don't make that change automatically, you're coming across to me as 360. And you can tell the difference in some of us that might be on here. I should be a higher quality video presentation than maybe some of the other people that are in the call if they did not make that change. If you don't really notice a difference, more than likely it might be how your settings are set up to receive video, or it could be just that your internet connection may not be as strong. It's a little hard to tech that out without being there with your computer. But again, if you're going to make the investment, you probably want to have at least a 720 high definition video. Microphone would be the next thing that you should consider investing in. So I did find, again, trying to keep it inexpensive. There is a $20 lapel microphone. Lapel is like you would think like a lapel for a jacket. It is a little tiny microphone that you would wear that you would clip on. The one that I have shared in this presentation would work for both Mac and Windows computers. In theory, it should work on a Chromebook. I haven't used it for sure to give you an answer. I did not opt to go with a lapel. I went with a studio quality microphone instead. But you can see that in both of these options, they are USB connections. So they are not the little micro 3mm jacks that you might see with like other computers that have like the microphone input. Depending how you want that connection to be is whether you want to have a USB one or a mini jack, they're also called. If you're using headphones that came with your phone, you're going to have the mini jack kind. You know what I'm talking about? Like they're like little, it's like a little silver end. So you have to make sure you plug that into the right place. It doesn't fit in the square rectangle hole. But I would say the USB one is a little more universal for these needs. The difference being that if you decide to go ahead and buy a real video camera, that kind of end is not going to go in a video camera. This is specifically for using a PC, Mac, Chromebook kind of device, not necessarily for, my $2,400 camera that I have in my house. They're not compatible. So that microphone, the little lapel one, is only $20. If you want to go the next level up, I do have that exact microphone that I have pictured down at the bottom. It's an external microphone with the arm. I liked it because it looked really cool. It looks like I'm going to do a podcast video. I don't know. I probably didn't need it to do that, but the whole arm thing with the pop sound, that's what I did. I do know a couple people in district that went ahead and bought it. Like I think Jim Alton bought it as soon as he saw I bought it. But at the same time, you have like John Mason who has like a $400 microphone. You don't need to like they're. If you're going to have the next Pod Save America kind of video thing happening, you probably want to invest in a better quality microphone than a $50 one. But if you're keeping it within a reasonable budget, this $50 one is working perfectly fine for me. If I bring it in closer, you probably still can't see it because of where I have it positioned, but you can hear as I get closer and louder and closer and louder. It is a condenser microphone, and for the price, I find it to be pretty good. And generally, compared to using the microphone that was built into my iMac, it does drown out some of the background noise too. So either one of these options is going to keep the audio closer to you as a person and take out some of the background noise and distractions you may have behind you. So that's where I say the next thing after buying a webcam that you should consider investing in would be a microphone. And then also if you're going to the next level, like I mentioned in the phone version, getting a ring light is certainly another thing that you can invest in. If you don't want to necessarily buy a ring light, you can just have a light on your computer desk. I would just try to angle it more that the bulb is shining on your face versus just being on your desk so that you have it more flooding you instead of having that that problem we saw that in that example, that if your computer light is shining in, it turns all black behind you. If you have it more filling your face, it should give a more appealing video look. Any questions about hardware? What do I use to make videos for my students? If we're talking from some of the tutorial videos that you've seen, I use Screencast-O-Matic to do my recordings. I use my built-in webcam that's on my iMac for the video. I use the microphone that you're hearing me talk into right now, and that works perfectly fine. Of course, we're talking like, what do I make my news packages for each TTV? Then you're getting into like money. So I don't know how much you want to spend. I think the camera that I use at the high school is a Canon XA11. I want to say it's about $1,300 if you're going to go out and buy it off Amazon. I have my own version of a higher quality camera than that. I think, if I remember the model off the top of my head, it is an XR. I'd have to look up the model number. It was about $2,400 that I do for like weddings and outside stuff. If you want to get into that, I could certainly point you that direction. I just don't know if that's something you're looking to invest in, that kind of money. I've been doing the video thing on the side for quite a while. I started like 13 or more years ago, so I've been doing this for a minute. And that's where I feel comfortable telling you that the built-in webcam that you have and maybe an external microphone is probably plenty for what you would need to do. Any other questions? Okay, so here's your homework assignment, everybody. Aren't you so excited to try this now? Yes, you are. So here's what I would recommend that you have ready for tomorrow in order to do more advanced video editing. I recommend that you make a video introducing yourself. And if you want to just take this time right now, like while you're in this virtual summer mode, to make yourself something that you'll actually use for September, you know, I certainly encourage it. I think make the best use of your time. If this is not really relevant to you in that way, maybe you might want to do some sort of demonstration video. Kim, I would love for you to do an autocrat video. Just going to throw that out there. She's laughing at me. So I would make it relevant, not necessarily just do it for the point of going through the exercise, but something that you might actually use. So at minimum, try to record yourself for at least a minute though. Then you, and doing so, feel free to use your phone or using the webcam. Whatever device you think you could see yourself using going forward is the one I would recommend you using. In either case, it's not going to matter when we get into the nonlinear editing. You will be able to pull it off of your phone or off of the webcam and like the location in order for you to edit it. So don't feel like you're only going to be able to edit with iMovie if you film it on your phone. You would be able to do the steps that we're going to go through tomorrow in order to edit it. You can feel free to try trimming if you are going to use the phone version, just to get used to that. I mentioned that we will be going over some of the editing. If you want to try out Screencast-O-Matic, like I said, there is a free version that you can get started just to see what that looks like if that's something you may want to invest in. I mentioned that you know, if you wanted to start with your phone and get a little further with, if you want to add your name or some kind of text just to get through some of the tools, it's no requirement to do that. That's just a recommendation. I would say try that out. Bonus, if you can figure out a way to share it with me before tomorrow morning, I would love to see what you do. But more than that, if you have any questions about things I went over, maybe specific hardware that you're looking to use, something that you hope that we go over tomorrow, just shoot me an email between now and maybe like the end of the day, just so I can get any, you know, research together in order to have that for you tomorrow. I think I've said this a few times. I want this to be worthwhile for you. So if you think that, you know, our trajectory seems like it's good, or if we need to revisit some things, let me know. I want you to feel comfortable as much as you can going into September, and that's purposely why I'm doing it the way that I am. But at this time, with the half hour we have left, I just wanted to kind of leave it open for anyone who wants to ask anything specific to what they're looking to do. There's going to be no requirement for you to stay on any longer than we already have for today. Just know that coming back for tomorrow, we will come back at 10 o'clock, and the plan will be that I strongly recommend that you use a a laptop, desktop type of a device, Chromebook if you need to. The phone may have worked for today, but in order to do the editing that we're going to do tomorrow, I would like you to go through, actually see what that looks like and be able to test it out so you can ask me any questions when you're actually in those programs. Other than that, the floor is for everybody. So feel free to unmute yourself.
So Leanna?
Yeah. I
wanted to ask you about, and you might be thinking about getting into this tomorrow. So just, tell me that and I'll be fine with that. I had asked you in the email about like filming short clips where I'm actually like teaching something specific, and that's something the students could, it's supplemental to the classroom, so they could see it on Google Classroom and go back over it or something like that. When I see other people do that online, they seem to be using like using like an actual, camera with a tripod, and they're standing up in front of a blackboard and things like that. If we don't have that kind of setup, I mean, could you use your computer webcam to just kind of like, if I stood back further with like a whiteboard, would that work?
Yeah, it definitely, I would say if you're going to go that direction, it may be, I would probably test the quality of your sound and the quality of your video before you go through a whole lecture, just because the further, if you're using a device like that, the further away you are, it's going to be hard for the microphone that's built in to pick up your sound. Okay. But yeah, definitely. I mean, we're still working within the limitations of the kind of devices we have. So I think it's totally realistic to, have a webcam or use if you have a Chromebook, like flip the camera around or whatever that might look like, to set that up at the back of the room and make sure that, if you can get someone to help you set up your shot, that would be even better. Maybe that's something the comm kids could help with next year. I just threw that out there. I hope that Denise don't kill me for saying that, but that seems like a great project for them to help with. But just you'll kind of get an idea of like, okay, if I set this up and my whiteboard's from here to here, I can kind of see the lines of where I need to stay inside of if I'm going to be on the screen or something like that, and then just work within those parameters. I think that's totally realistic.
Okay.
And yeah, Gloria, no problem if you got to be late tomorrow. I know a couple of teachers at the high school had like musical things that they couldn't attend for the first part of today. So same thing. That's exactly why I recorded it, that I will be able to post it online. You can play it back for anything you might have missed. So no worries there. Any other questions, guys? Thoughts? Did you learn anything? Good. Okay.
I have another question. I'm a math teacher, and I'm having trouble like trying to show like math problems, without, I don't have a whiteboard. I mean, I can get one, I guess, but I've looked at Jamboard and it's really slow with the Google Meet. Okay. Do you have any suggestions to be able to like, present a math problem or something like that?
I mean, I know Jamboard it probably wouldn't be as slow if you don't have the kids interacting with it, or if you're recording it by yourself. Like if you're doing like one of these that you're put yourself in a room and you wanted to show the Jamboard, it's going to interact a little better than that presentation type of mode. Screencast-O-Matic would let you draw on there if you wanted to, but again, that's kind of more in a recording feature. If you're talking live, it might be worth when you get back into the building if you have those little handy whiteboards that you can just sort of draw that out. I've seen some people where they will use their webcam to talk to the kids, and then they'll use their phone like a document camera and draw it out. So like they'll kind of switch back and forth to make this like the one that's presenting and draw out the problem. But
how do you have your phone hooked up for us to see?
So right now I have Google Meet installed as an app on my device, and I'm logged in there twice. So when I present, I stop presenting on this screen, and then I take over and present on the other screen.